Iron Fist Season 2 is now streaming on Netflix. I just watched the entire series and I advise you to do the same before watching this review because just like with every Netflix review, this will have spoilers. You are warned. And after a disappointing first season to so many people, Danny is now taking up the mantle of the supposedly dead Matt Murdock. He's being the vigilante this town needs and deserves, and he's taking care of business right from the very first scene. While Davos, his former brother, is teaming up with Joy for some nefarious plans, and a new lady called Mary is in town to stir up more trouble. Now, as I alluded to from the very first scene, this feels like a completely different show. This show begins with an action scene. To so many people disappointed by the first season, myself included, despite I enjoying that season, this is a season that in the first episode alone has 3 action set pieces, whereas the first season lacked so much action. And there's so much story in here, and I think Netflix listened to the fans in so many different ways. Not only because the first season lacked story, this one might have a little too much story, but there's always something going on. Also, this season only has 10 episodes. I was shocked how fast I finished this show because it suddenly ends and I was like, that definitely wasn't 13 episodes. And I checked, and Iron Fist Season 2 is 10 episodes, and it flows by that fast. And watching this season, I realized what the true problem was with Danny's character in the first season and in the Defenders. With Iron Fist, the show starting with Danny already being the Iron Fist, we never saw what it was like for Danny to be down in the dumps, for what it was like for Danny to lose everything, because being the Iron Fist is the beyond and all in this world, in this show, for this character. And without it, we just see who Danny truly is. We see the nuances in Danny Rand. We see how it is for Danny Rand to make ends meet without the Iron Fist, without being what he's supposedly destined to be. And I love that in this second season. Danny's development is the shining star of this show, but he's not the only one that develops. Davos is a nuanced, 3-dimensional character with clear motivations and understandable qualities and redeeming qualities at that. Colleen Wing the same. In fact, one of the things I love in this season is how the relationship between her and Danny is explored, and they kind of have a shitty relationship because of their shitty life. They don't pretend that everything is fine. Sometimes they might not talk, and that's what makes them such interesting characters. It's that they are flawed. It's that they are stubborn in their own way, and their relationship crumbles because of the world that surrounds them, because of the circumstances that they bring upon themselves. Danny, so focused on defending the city, he doesn't go to sleep, and Colleen just trying her damn artist every second, every breath she takes to not pick up that katana again and go back to the streets. And another shining point is Misty Knight, who basically comes to be a shining beacon in this show and a recurring star basically. And the Daughters of the Dragon are spectacular. Her scenes are always so great. They share this dynamic that is so interesting. Their chemistry on screen is electric. And speaking of chemistry and dynamic, I'm going to speak of all the characters now, because this show does a lot of things really well, to my surprise. It's the character dynamics that makes it such an interesting show, because it puts everyone together in pairs. We get to see how the dynamic is between Danny and Colleen, between Danny and Misty, between Danny and Ward, who's an extremely nuanced character in this show as a former drug addict who's going out to rehab, and he has so much going on. This is what I want to see from him in the first season, and not just this crazy asshole who is an asshole all the time, because I believe the biggest assholes on the planet have moments where good comes out of them, and I believe that good people on the planet have moments of being assholes. And Ward really demonstrates that in this season. But getting back to the pairs, we get to see Danny and Davos, Danny and Joy, Danny and Mary, who I will get to in a second. We get to see Colleen and Davos, Colleen and Mary, Colleen and Misty, Colleen and Ward, Colleen and Joy. Everyone just has these pair-ups, and we get to see how different characters in this world will interact. We have moments to analyze that, to create relationships with those characters, be they good good or bad, but I don't remember seeing that in these shows in general. We get so many characters in all of these shows. I don't think we see all of them meeting, and I think Iron Fist Season 2 might have been the first one to do so. And before I get to Mary, let me go to the fight sequences, because I saw the credit for the stunt coordinator in this show, and I went to research it because it was so much better than in the first season. And it is the fight coordinator for Black Panther, and it shows. The fight scenes in this are excellent, not only on a level of martial arts and kung fu, hard hitting, fist to fist, kick to kick. The superpowers are really well done in this show, and also the special effects on the Iron Fist, really well done. Congratulations. This show just upped the ante on everything that it did in the first season, whether it was right or wrong. I happen to enjoy the first season, but this show just realized how to kick it into high gear, and it feels so fresh, so new. I don't think I miss the first season at all, and I liked it. Now let's go to Mary, another extremely nuanced character played brilliantly by Alice Eve, who kind of feels like this character belongs in The Punisher. Once we get to know her backstory and she's a war vet, the only thing I missed from her was that I didn't see her characters, her personalities too much. I saw it in Alice Eve's acting, but I didn't get to understand how many characters did Mary have inside her. Her story, though, extremely interesting. I do wish we had spent a little more time with her in the psychiatrist's office, because that portion of the episode was so good, so tension-filled. I adored what she did in this show. But this show is not perfect. This did not suddenly become my favorite Netflix Marvel show. Iron Fist Season 2 kinda slows down its pace midway through. About episode 5 to episode 7, they kind of feel like a lull, because we have Davos trying to create an army with children, and that doesn't really work, because you never feel the threat in these children. Also, Joy doesn't really interest me as a character. I'm sorry. I know I talked about how the chemistry and dynamics and pair-ups are interesting, but Joy herself, she doesn't matter to me. I did not like her. I do not think Jessica Stroup or Stroop, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, did a good job in the first season or in this one. And in fact, when Davos threw her off that ledge, I thought they had pulled a cottonmouth, but done it right this time, and unfortunately they didn't. I just hope they do it on the third season, if there is a third season. But now let's go back to the ending of this show, where Danny chooses Colleen to inherit the Iron Fist back from Davos, who just kicked ass while he had the Iron Fist, taking it away from Danny, which was the biggest guttural punch to the character that we needed to make him shine the most. But then we have this back and forth of Davos taking it back and Colleen taking it back, and that's the ending of the show, and she kicks the ground and Davos just goes to the hospital, I guess. He doesn't die with that ultimate punch, but kind of underwhelming, but still pretty cool, because now Danny and Ward, they go in search of Hancock 212, and Danny has this moment where he still has the Iron Fist. Now, I might have missed something. I did not have time to go back and check throughout the episode, hoping to find the moment where this gets explained, but Danny has this really silly moment that didn't work for me, where he points two guns and the Iron Fist activates, and he now also has the Iron Fist. So now maybe two people can have the Iron Fist, I'm not sure. But the moment of the guns and all that didn't really work for me. What worked for me is how Colleen has now picked up the mantle from Danny, and now she uses the Iron Fist through the katana. That is character development right there. The object that she swore never to pick up again when she didn't want to come back to these streets, when she thought herself really weak to go back to the streets, she now uses to channelize her power. And I think that's the most powerful tool of character development for her that we have in this season. If you didn't enjoy Iron Fist Season 1, please give Season 2 a chance. I think it's a real redefinition of the show. It's a redefinition of these characters, of the pace, and what we can actually do with this character. Iron Fist Season 2 surprised me in so many innumerable ways. And despite liking season 1, I'm just counting season 2 right now as a season, and I'm going to give Iron Fist season 2 a collector's item. Now, what did you think of Iron Fist Season 2, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? How do you rank all the Marvel Netflix shows right now with Iron Fist Season 2? Let me know in the comments below. Come back tomorrow for my review of The Predator, and check out my review of the original Predator. I can't wait to see you there. I hope to see you there. Thank you so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And until tomorrow, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button, click the bell, and we can be geeky united!